I talked to you a few years back when I was doing a little show on Fox. It's been a while since you and I have caught up.
Yeah.
How are you doing? How are you handling quarantine? What's going on at the show? What can you tell us?
I'm actually doing really well. We're in quarantine in Palm Springs. So it's beautiful out here. The weather's been really nice. I have a pool. So
Amazing.
It hasn't been too bad. Able to podcast and vlog from home.
Yes. Shenanigans is the best. You can download that podcast everywhere. I know the last time I saw you, we were in Vegas living our lives with Chester, and now the life is totally upside down. But I want to talk about your premiere of Pump Rules. But what has really come out so much that I've been relating to so much about you is this whole process of you freezing your eggs. And you really went into detail this season. I kind of want to get right into it because I feel like it's something that I've been exploring and something that doesn't get talked about enough.
Yeah, I definitely think you should. I literally recommend it to anyone who's thinking about kids but not ready right now. And it can be pricey, which I think is what deters a lot of people from doing it. However, at amazing places like SCRC in Beverly Hills, they have amazing financing plans for as low as $160 a month.
Wow.
So a lot of people don't know that. I'm trying to push that more because now that I am going to do a third round, I'm probably going to have to go that route because it's just, I've already done this twice and I'm not working that much. In quarantine, we're not filming. So it's I just got to kind of figure out where I'm spending my money right now. But
That's really, that's helpful information though. That $160 a month, because I was just watching on Keeping Up with the Kardashians. Khloe's going through that journey right now. She and Tristan are freezing eggs. She's thinking about making some of them embryos. In my mind, I remember thinking this last week or a couple weeks ago when I watched that episode, it seemed so cost prohibitive. It seems like a real person couldn't
I thought
do
it was
that.
$20,000. And me and Lisa had to have my partner have a real conversation because we're not ready either. But I'm 32 and I'm nervous that we're nervous that, we want to have healthy eggs. Yeah.
So I think the best thing to do first is as soon as, places open back up and you can get an appointment, I would go and do a blood test for your AMH levels because that's going to determine the sooner you should do it. Or if you're great for your age, they might be you could probably wait a couple years. Don't worry about it. But for me, when I went in at 31, I didn't have the blood test. They just checked my ovaries. And thank God I didn't do it because I ended up getting a divorce about 6 months later. And we would have frozen embryos. So very glad I didn't go through with it that time. Something just told me it wasn't right. And then the next time I went back in and got the blood test, for about our age, the lowest AMH levels should be 1.4 to 4.2 is average. I don't know what that means exactly. I just know those are the numbers. Yeah. And I'm 0.28.
Oh.
So
wow.
Yeah.
So you've done it you're getting ready to do it a third time. So how come that is? Because also you would think you would only need to go one round or why don't you? What's that about?
So my doctor said that he usually thinks lower AMH levels are somehow genetic. It's not necessarily lifestyle choices or birth control. I am a very outright stoner, and I know that marijuana and anything recreational, alcoholic, anything can affect fertility, obviously, but that's not necessarily why my AMH levels are so low. It just could be something genetic. It's been in the back of my head ever since I was a kid that I would just have trouble getting pregnant.
Wow.
So whether I manifested that or just knew to get ahead of it one day, I've always had that feeling. And when I went in, I was just I knew it. I had a feeling. So for how low my levels were, we had to put me on extra hormones, extra medication, supplements, all of this, which I'm still taking 3 times a day for the last year and a half. And I was able to get 12 eggs, which was same as Khloe. As I'm watching the show, I was oh my God, we're same age. We both got 12 eggs, but she only had 5 mature. I had 9. And then the second round, we got 7 and all 7 were mature. So I have 16. That's
amazing.
And it's a lot for someone with my levels. That's really good to produce that many. However, I don't just want 1 kid. I would probably want 2. And for how low those levels are, I don't know that the quality of my eggs are great. I know that they're mature, but until you fertilize them, you don't know if they're viable. And then you have to do all the genetic testing for the embryos. So having 16 sounds great in theory, but you figure you lose half when they're fertilized and genetically tested maybe another half. Then what if you have a miscarriage? Like I could maybe only have one egg. I might have none.
Yeah.
So,
well, I saw on this episode, one thing that made me upset, just as your friend, but it was kind of an insight too. You had a moment in this season where you broke down, like you were talking and you started crying and you started opening up about how this process has really affected you emotionally also, which I think people don't know. Having all these hormones and all these things going through your body, it really kind of messes you up.
And honestly, that was the only hard part about it. Like the shots were a breeze for me. I did them myself. I mixed everything. I felt like a freaking chemist. I was like, oh, I got this shit. Second round, I didn't even go in and have the nurse do one shot for me. I was just like, I got this, done it. I already know. But emotionally, being sober, celibate, and single, filming a reality show, I don't recommend for anybody. There was nothing I could do to relieve anything. It was just, it was something, but I'm like, this is important for my future. It's something I want to do. And if that means, I have to be sober and celibate and not smoke weed and not drink wine or whatever, then that's fine. Like I don't have an addictive personality. So the day the doctor told me, you got to stop all that, I did. I did 50 days. No weed, no alcohol, no anything.
Well, Scheana, I'm curious to know, have you always known you wanted to be a mother? And when you're going through this process, the 50 days, I mean, that sounds like a really difficult situation to put yourself in, all things considered. Were you thinking about your unborn children or your unborn child? Is that the thing that motivated you? And also, that moment you do become a mother, what do you expect that might be like for you?
So it's funny because when I was younger, I never wanted kids. I was just like, no, like selfish Scheana, not want to have kids. And then when I got married and I saw how good Shay was with his nephews, I was like, okay, I could see this for us. Like, you'll be the one to stay home, raise the kid. I can still work. Like, but I saw that. And then I got divorced. And then I was like, hell no, back to, I don't want kids. And then I'm in another relationship. And then I'm single. And I was just my brain was so back and forth. My heart was very torn. And I'm like, I know I don't want them now. But I know that I have wanted them very strongly at one point in my life. And I'm just not in that place to want that again right now. Because I think if I did let myself think that and really want them and want to go the sperm donor route, like at the time, that would have been even more depressing. So I'm like, look, I know right now I do not want this, but I know how wish-washy I am. And in the future, I will regret not doing this. I would never regret doing it.
Right.
And so that was what motivated me, just knowing that I am doing this for my future. I'm going to have trouble getting pregnant on my own. It's the best insurance policy you can do. And I just had my mindset in that. It's for your future. And, like I say, I'm in a great relationship now and, I hope this is my forever. But at the time I was like, I'm very single. I don't want to get a sperm donor, raise a kid on my own. But then I'm like, but what if you do? What if you're 40 years old and you're still single and you do want to go that route? So I just thought there was no reason not to do it. I had the money at the time, but then we got 9 and I was like, oh, that's great. And he's like, you should probably do it again. And then once the show got picked up for season 8, I was like, perfect. I'll do this so I can put it out there, have this not like I'm trying to create my own storyline. It's what's going on in my life. But yeah. I thought it was so important for so many women out there to watch me go through this. And then the show just fucking brushes over it. It's like, it barely even happened. So when people ask me, I'm like, please reference last week of Keeping Up with the Kardashians, where you can see a very similar journey. But it's making me want to do it even more a third time. I mean, mainly because my doctor recommended it. But I'm now vlogging and I want to capture all of it.
Well, I love that. It's funny that you're vlogging and that you said the show brushed over it, because let's get into this season of Vanderpump Rules. I did read somewhere that, and I feel like they did sort of brush over it. There was a lot of the storyline with Kristen and the fighting and then the girls getting engaged or married, but something that's not been covered is motherhood. I feel like that would have been a really big deal. Why do you think that is?
I think that they just like to keep me in this one-dimensional box of desperate, and it's just like, it's almost like I'm playing a character. I'm like, okay, so I'm a desperate, middle-aged waitress. That is my role to play here. It's like, because nothing of my like actual life really is shown outside of it. It's like, I had so much going on last year. I mean, I still do, but it's just brushed over because we do have 18 other cast members' lives to cover. It's insane. I mean, I think we are officially the biggest reality television cast. And
but let's be honest, like most people can name maybe 4 or 5, and you're one of them. So let's be clear.
That's the thing too. It's like I try and like see it that way as like the show overall. I understand it's changing. More people are being added into the cast. I get it. But I'm an OG, literally day one, scene one. I think you should prioritize mine and the 7 other people who started the show. You should prioritize our storylines.
I agree.
That's not the case on our show. They, think whatever, me desperately flirting is a better story than me actually going through something real in life that could help people. Mm-hmm. And, that's their decision. That's the show they want to put out. That's fine. But that's why I am putting my own show out on YouTube every week so people can see everything that the show's not covering. And the comments have been so positive. Yeah. Everyone's saying it's better than the show. And they're like, wow, you get to see so much more of your personality. Like you're actually not one dimensional. And I'm like, no, there's some depth there. But
Can I ask a juicy question?
Yeah.
Since Lisa Vanderpump left Real Housewives, has she changed? Has she been filming more? Have you noticed any sort of change in her demeanor filming Vanderpump?
So I don't know if I've really filmed with her since she technically left. I'm not sure. I feel like our seasons are a little overlapping because we're on air at the same time. So I feel like when she quit, it was maybe towards the end of us filming last season.
Got it.
I don't remember exactly, but yeah.
Well, I know some reality shows. I was reading the Kardashians again to reference them. They've gotten kits. They're using cell phones and they're taking footage and they're sending them in. They're going to continue filming their season. I know you're filming of your next season. You've been picked up, but it keeps getting pushed back. Do you think it could be possible at some point they ask you to start getting out your cell phones and sending them footage to make the season happen?
Very possible. Although we're not officially picked up yet, but like we know we're the number 2 show on the network. Like they would be so dumb to cancel such a great show. Will everyone be back next season? I don't know. But I mean, I certainly hope I am.
Well, there's a lot of storylines, including Stassi now getting engaged, which is a big deal. And then Lala they're planning their wedding, but everything's been put on hold. I don't know if you speak to them regularly, but are they just waiting around to plan their weddings, or are they going to continue on? Are you involved? Do you care?
I mean, I'm invited to both. So yes, I do care. Okay. But I do think, I'm hoping we're picked up. I could see them doing the cell phone thing for maybe just in the beginning, like transitioning out of quarantine, like while they're in pre-production. I could absolutely see that. Filming a whole season, I think they would just put it off and wait. I mean, Stassi has said very publicly she wants a fall wedding in Italy. We all know when fall is. So until it gets a little closer to that date, they're not canceling anything yet. They sent out their save the dates. They're planning on it still. Lala was saying July, but now they're like, even that's too soon. And so Randall and Lala are completely just put on hold until we have more answers. And Stassi and Beau, I think, are giving it another month or 2 to go through with it or pull the plug. So we don't know anything. I mean, it's like one day you think things are getting better and then the next day they get 10 times worse. So,
Well, you've made this so much better. Let me just say on behalf of so many women and just families that are trying to freeze their eggs or be educated about it or have a life, thank you so much for talking with us. Thank you for being so open about it. You're my girl. I love you to death when this is all over. I cannot wait to see you. Good luck with everything. Congratulations on your new relationship. He's so handsome.
Love you too.
Follow you on your vlogging. You can get Shenanigans, your podcast, anywhere you can download a podcast. So make sure you do that too.
And my new song, One More Time, is out today.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Oh my God, that's like an exclusive, honey.
Yeah.
I love that. Congrats.
Congrats, babe. Okay, so download that too. Thank you again. We love you.
Love you too.
Bye. Be safe.
Bye.
Thanks for watching. If you liked the video, make sure to like and subscribe and hit that bell for all notifications from radio.com. While you're at it, why don't you check out some of our other great videos.